Hi guys, it's Emily from Novelle Novels and welcome to today's video. This is my top books of 2020. Now, I was going to do 10, then I was like, do I do 10 plus 5 extra mentions and make it to 15? And then I was like, do you know what? Sneaky peek, I read over 360 books in last year, in 2020, so I've put it as my top 20. They are not in any particular order, although I do have one book that I will save to the end, which will be my favourite, which I think is pretty much, without doubt, my favourite book of the year. But all the other books that I'm talking about are absolutely incredible. I've made, some of them are by indie authors, some of them are books that just really appeal to me. I've got a real mixture of genres because, you know me, I like my genres being mixed up. I've not put them in a specific order, so I won't sort of go in whatever. They're in a real jumble bums, but you know me. This is the day after my cat died, so I think I'm just going to give myself a break and tell you which books I loved. Let's see which one I've started off with on the pile with next to me. Oh, Jane Eyre. You guys know I did the Jane Eyre readathon with the lovely Kate Howe and a lot of you other fellow amazing booktubers, which I read in Victober. And this has to go down as one of my favourite books of the year. I love this book. I think it's one of the only ones that is a reread, and it deserves every bit of praise. It's gone from 4 to 5 stars. It is now up there with Wuthering Heights as probably one of my favourite books of all time. If you guys know me, you know I love the Brontes, and this one is probably just absolutely incredible. It mixes romance with the dark gothicness of the Brontes, with the fun bits of, you've got some funny characters in this. You've got heartbreak, you've got love, you've got every little mix, and you've also got so many other things that I just discovered on the second time of reading it. You've got disability rep, you've got poverty, you've just got so many things, and Zoom chatting with some lovely people, some of my friends for the readathon, I got even more out of it. So I just want to say thank you for all those of you that did that with me. I will link my announcement video for the Jane Eyre readathon because I did love this book and it was just amazing. So this is one of my favourites. The next is my next classic favourite, which is North and South, which I buddy read with the lovely from Andrew with an E and Danny from Spinelli Speaks. This has to go down as one of the most interesting classics. It is one of the biggest classics I've got. It's actually only 500 pages, but it feels massive. But it's so good. People die in every single twitch turn in this book, so that's a bit of a spoiler. But there are so many people that die in this book. But there's romance, there's characters that you love, there's some funny bits in it, and it is an all-time amazing book. Gaskell is now one of my all-time favourite classic authors, and probably one of my favourite authors around. And this book was amazing. I love buddy reading it with Danny and Ange. They are amazing people. Check them out, guys. They're lovely, and this book is just absolutely incredible. Loved it. Now the next one is one of my indie authors. I got sent this by Red Door Press. This is The Scoop by Kat Walker. This has to go in the top books of the year because it was one that made me smile. At a time when we can't go travelling, or we can't go away, it gave me that buzz, that feeling of where I wanted to travel, and I just absolutely loved it. I loved reading it for Red Door. They sent it me for Blog Talk and it was absolutely amazing. This is about Casey Jones's loathsome mess. Her job bores her, her parents confuse her, and she has repeated nightmares about her ex-girlfriend. In a moment of madness, she packs her job, packs on an adventure with a school friend and long-time lad Danny. What she didn't plan on was an extra passenger in the shape of Danny's estranged 12-year-old son, Harry, who has trouble of their own. The three of them are thrown together on an adventure with a roller coaster ride in Alice the Convertible. This was hilarious. There are bits in this that I laughed my head off. There are bits in this that gulped, but it taught me about how much you should don't take your life for granted. How much one of us right now would love to go on a big travelling. And I tell you one thing, when this COVID gets better, I'm taking my kids to places. I'm going travelling and I'm going to explore this country because I can't wait. And I think this book was just what I needed this year. So thank you, Red Door, for sending it to me. The author, Kat Walker, is also a lovely lady. I love this book. Now, the next one was a chick lit. And I thought, do you know what, this year, like I said, I've learnt to be acceptance of who I am. Learnt to know that it's okay that I like chick lits. This book was amazing. Jenny Colgan is now one of my all-time favourite chick lit authors. I've read so many of her books in 2020, but this one stood out as an absolutely incredible one. This is Bookshop on the Shore, and it is all-time absolutely incredible book. It's romance with books in it, a book with books in it, a book that talks about different authors. This is almost, I think it's like virtually a sequel to, I'm trying to think of the Bookshop on the Shore. I think that was the book it was a sequel to. And I read that and I didn't realise it was a sequel, but it's got links into that. And it's brilliant. It's absolutely lovely. Yeah, no, links into Bookshop on the Corner, I think. But it's incredible. Just check that out, guys. But Zoe's a single mother struggling to cope in London. Her little boy Harry is the light of her life but refuses to speak. And the landlord has just raised the rent on her flat. So she takes the opportunity and goes to Scotland. And she gets a new life. And it is just an incredible book. And I think the bits about Harry as a mother of a child with Thomas's got speech delays, I think I related to that bit, and the mother in this, the fact that she's sort of like, she's running the bookshop, but she's also looking after other kids, and there's a romance, and it's a bit of a dark, and it's a book about books. Guys, you know I love that. It's incredible, just what I needed. Now I'm going to look at my notes because I'm going to include a book that I haven't got physically with me, which is Girl, Woman, Other. I listened to that on audiobook. You guys know Bernardine Evaristo's books. Girl, Woman, Other is a book that's got loads and loads of different stories about different characters that link right towards the end. And it's linking in. It's about girls. It's multi-gender. It tackles so many different issues, but it was one of the best books that I listened to this year. And to listen to it on audiobook meant that I could really take my time on it. And I think it's probably my favourite audiobook of the year. Loved it. If you don't, I've now read Mr. Loveman by Bernardine Evaristo, which is, again, just because it's not on this list, it doesn't mean it's not up there as one of the top books. But like I said, 300 odd books, trying to pick my favourite, it's pretty hard. Love Girl, Woman, Other. Now this one you guys would have expected to see on this list. The 13th Tale by Zion Setterfield. This is gothic, dark, spooky, scary, every little thing that scared the living bejeebers out of me in points, but it's absolutely amazing. It's historical fiction mixed with the present time. Englefield House stands abandoned, alone and forgotten. It was once the imposing home of the March family. Fascinating, manipulative Isabel, Charlie, her brutal, dangerous brother, and the wild, untamed twins, Emmeline and Adeline. But Englefield House conceals a chilling secret whose impact still resonates. This is so good. I loved it. I've got so many more of Diane Setterfield's books to read, and I cannot wait. I'm still hunting for Once Upon a River, which hopefully I might get for Christmas, you never know. But if not, I'm buying it in the new year. I want it. This book was brilliant. Loved every minute of it. Now, here we go. One of my only thrillers, I think, in this book, which is Turn of the Key. I won this because my lovely friend Lara nominated me for a giveaway on Twitter. And to me, it's Ruth Ware's, one of Ruth Ware's most modern. I think she's got one other newer book that's just come out, which I want. This was brilliant. This is a retelling of the Taming of the Shrew. I've already read it with Naomi from Naomi's Bookshelves, and I loved it. I did not guess the killer until the very, very end. I really couldn't have predicted it. It was probably one of my favourite thrillers. It kept me on my toes from start to finish. It's actually one of my only thrillers I've actually kept because it was that friggin' good. I loved every second of it. It's funny because I've read one of Ruth Ware's books, The Lion Game, which I loved. Didn't like The Woman in Cabin 10, but I love this. So that's one. Now let's see if I've got any other books. All right. I will say that The Flat Share by Beth O'Leary is another one of my favourite books. And guess what? My sister Charlie's got it at the moment. I've lent it to her and she's still blooming got it. You will read it, Charlie, and give it back to me. But that was an amazing book. I loved that. I loved it. Chris bought it for me in lockdown. It is brilliant. I've read The Switch, but that wasn't quite as good as The Flat Share. But The Flat Share is an incredible book. If you want to read Beth O'Leary's work, then definitely go to The Flat Share first, because I think that is by far the best one. So, let's just check if there's no more on this page. I'll turn over my page now because I've got... Sorry, I feel like I'm going to sneeze. I actually thought I'd include this one in it. Anne of Green Gables. I read it for the Anne Along, which Tia was running with Tia from Tia and all her books. That she was running that with, I think, from the Curly Reader, Amanda from the Curly Reader. But I thoroughly loved this. This took me back to my childhood. I loved the whole series. I read the whole series this year. But this is the one that stands out to me as my favourite because it really did take me back to my childhood. It took me back to a happy, happy time. So many memories. Anne in this book is at her best when she's young and fun and incredible, and I thoroughly love this book, and it's one that I recommend to everyone. If you want to go back to your children, if you want to read a children's classic, go to this. The series is amazing and I loved it with all my heart. The next one is another book that I got sent by Tandem for one of their read-alongs. You know I love my fairy tale retellings. You know it. This one was amazing. This has got LGBTQ plus references in it because the leading lady has got a partner. She's got a female partner, and it is incredible. It's 200 years since Cinderella found her prince, but the fairy tale is over. Sophia knows the story through off by heart because every girl has to recite it daily. But when she is tiny, until the she is sent to the royal ball for raising, and every girl knows that she has only one chance to be chosen. But the lives of being chosen by the lives of a man, and those that don't get chosen by a man are forfeited. But Sophia doesn't want to be chosen. She doesn't want to get the ball, not when she's afraid she'll lose the girl she loves. This is brilliant. I cannot. Apparently, this author's writing another book, and I bloody well want it. So I'm looking out for that because this book was amazing. It's one of my favourite retellings. Clint from Reed's Readers had actually spoken about it before I got it for Tandem. So when the readathon, I get the emails sent through to me about which readathons do you want to go for. Put my name down for that. Didn't expect to get chosen for it, and when I did get chosen for it, I screamed the house down. This is friggin' amazing. I loved every second of it. The next one is, I've just realised I have not got to one of my other books. I've just realised, but you know what? It doesn't matter. You guys know that I loved it. I've got The Minute I Saw You by the lovely Paige Toon. Don't know why it's not on my pile. I thought I had put it on my pile and I had forgotten, but I loved it. It was an all-time incredible book. It was Paige Toon's most recent book, and it starts off set in an optician's. For you guys that know me, I work in opticians. The references on that were brilliantly researched. It was amazing. So that alone had me. The romance in it had me. There was so much in it that just got my heart. And to me, it's probably my favourite Paige Toon book that she's ever written. She's also an amazing author. She converses back with me. She's replied to emails I've put on, messages, tweets, Instagram posts. She's lovely. Check her out. If you like chick lit, Paige Toon has got it all in one. And what I love with her is that she links characters from other books of hers, which I noticed right towards the end. And I loved I loved going through the book and going, do I recognise that character? Do I recognise that? Because I've read all of her books. And yeah, just loved it. Jigsaw puzzle, but it's incredible. Then I've got this one. I didn't know if I'd include this one. This is a bit of a random inclusive. The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang. This has to be the sexiest, raunchiest, naughtiest book going. It has more sex scenes than anyone I could put my finger at. But it also has amazing autism rep in it. And I thoroughly loved it. Autism and Asperger's rep, it's on that spectrum. But it was written in it so beautifully. And the characters and the love and just, oh, it had me. It really had me. And I needed the escapism of this. I've actually kept it. It was actually one of Charlie's books and I nabbed it off her and kept it because it is that good. Thoroughly loved it. Now, the Amber Spyglass. I loved reading the Dark Materials this year, and I think the Amber Spyglass it was incredible. It's the third book, the last book. I wasn't sure whether to go for this or the Subtle Knife, but I went for this because everything gets tied up so nicely at the end, and it's everything you could ever want to. I'm not going to talk too much about it because it is the third in the series, but I didn't think I'd like the Dark Materials. The first one, I liked. Then it got better for second. Then the third hit me by the clappers and I thoroughly loved it. Loved it. I'm not even going to read the latest bit because I've heard it's not as good as the series and I'm not having anything take away this series. I buddy read the series with Berna, Gaia and my sister Charlie and it was incredible. Love you all girls and it's brilliant. Then, I will say, I'm now going to take up some books that I've got not physically with me. Sorry about the noise in the background. The kids are off. It's insane. I'm going to say that Red, White and Royal Blue is my most latest book that has to go on here. Yet again, Charlie's got it. It's Clint's favourite book of the year and now I know why. The American Prince. The American, son of the Americans, first son, the president's son. And the English Prince have a romance. It's their love. It's about identity. It's about being true to who you are. Thoroughly loved it. It had to go in my top 20 of the year. and it will always be one of my favourite books. Again, it's one that I'm actually going to keep. I'll lend to other people, but I'm keeping it. The next one that Charlie has lent to me, my sister Charlie has lent to me, is the Black Flamingo. Absolutely, if you guys don't know this, this is about a boy who wants to wear female clothing and dress in drag. It's written in poetry, it's written in verse, it is incredible. I thoroughly loved it. To me, that expression of who you are, that learning that it's okay to be different, that struggling with your own identity. I related with the struggling with your own identity because of what's happened to me in my life. I loved it, thoroughly loved it. It had to go in the top 10 of the year. Another book, The Silent Companions. I am sending to you, Chloe, because I know you're going to watch this. I've got it to one side, she's going to send it. It was the most scariest book going, but it was also a thoroughly amazing historical fiction book. Historical fiction horror, and it's mixing everything. I think Chloe will absolutely love it. I buddy read it with Gemma from Read a Book Gem, and it was amazing. I'm going to kill those kids. But it was brilliant. So those are definitely two of the ones that are in here. Then my last three before I get to my favourite. One I've just finished, The Castle of Tangled Magic. This is Sophie Anderson's latest book. I am going to buy every book that she writes. This does not... The House of Chicken Eggs was one of my favourites last year. Then I read The Girl Who Speaks There, and this has exceeded it. If you like fantasy, if you like middle grade, if you like adventure, if you like new worlds, if you like being true to who you are, you'll love this book. It's fantastic. Sophie Anderson, another amazing author. God, all these authors are going to think I'm creeping. Then a book that, one of my first books of the year, the only book from January that got in the top 10, one that I'm rereading this month in January 2021, A Heart So Fierce and Broken by Bridget Kemener. The second in the series, had to go in my top ones of the year because I thoroughly loved it. I will always love Bridget Kemener's work. I'm going to get the new book, yay, at the end of January, and it's the last in the series. This is more about Grey, and Grey is my book crush. You guys know I fancy the pants off Grey. This is more about him, and we get some other lovely leading characters in this. We get a bit about Harper, but it's more about Grey and Leah Mara's story, so we make new characters. Can't tell you too much about it, because obviously it will connect with first. This is amazing. If you like fantasy again, if you like retellings, you'll love this. It's amazing. Now, the penultimate book I had to include, I know that I'm loyal to our Charlie. Charles Heathcote is one of the best authors, and this is the coziest murder mystery going. I didn't predict who was the murderer. I didn't predict what was going to happen. I love the characters. I love the fact that there is characters that link in with the Eldora series, which I think he's done beautifully. Like I said, Page Tune, if you link characters into the other authors' other books, it makes me love you even more. This book was amazing. If you haven't bought it, why not? I will link Charlie's channel below. Get your books through him. I will support Charlie all the way. He's one of them. He's like, his northern sense of humour is amazing, and he thinks he's a grumpy old so-and-so, but he isn't, because he's sweet, and he's actually got a really funny side, and he's a friend, and his books are amazing, and I'm going to buy everything he writes because he's just got it down to a T. If you like murder mysteries, if you like cozy reads, cozy murdery mystery, perfect. And there's a murder, get it. Then my all-time favourite book of the year, which you guys will always know because you all know me too well, Theyre Familiar by Stacey Halls. I got this for a giveaway that Linda did on her channel, and it's my favourite book of the year. It's the one that I could quote over and over again. It is one of the best books I've ever written. It's historical fiction done in so many ways. It's about women, it's about friendship, it's about witchcraft, it's about everything you could ever mix. And it is one of the most beautiful, beautiful books I've owned, and I love it with every bit of my heart. So this is my favourite book of the year. Guys, what was your favourite book of 2020? I hope 2021 is a million times better than 2020. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, not subscribed yet, ring on my ding-a-ling, and I'll see you all soon. Bye bye!